G'day, Steeler Nation Australia. So there's a reason why I'm wearing headphones today, and I have my good mate, Stay the Steelers, joining me. And it was going to be talking about, Friday Night Lights and pads and players hitting one another, but I think it's been cancelled and rained. However, I still want to introduce my guest today, is the new famous Daniel J. and Stay the Steelers. G'day, mate.
How's it going, man? I'm doing well.
What's going on? Are
I'm
you
a little
like
bit.
you're a YouTube celebrity now, bro? What's going on?
Well, it's gone kind of quick for me. I was out here in Latrobe and passed my business card around a bit, and I jumped up a few subscribers. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been cold now that the rain came down and unfortunately canceled Friday Night Lights. But yeah, no, it's been a fun trip, man. I highly recommend anybody who's going to thought about going to training camp, go. You won't regret it. It's a lot of fun. You meet the players. I did a video on my channel last night where I described it as a backstage pass or a behind the scene look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. So my guest today on Steeler Nation Australia is a lot of you guys know who Stay the Steelers is. If you don't, go check out his channel on YouTube. Stay the Steelers, fantastic name. I will say that till I fall over. I love it. Daniel, he's been working hard on YouTube. He's now working on Behind the Steel Curtain as well, writing articles, doing podcasts. I still have not listened to it just yet. I've been busy myself doing here, there, and everywhere, as you know. But Daniel, mate, let's talk about training camp a bit. I know you were excited to see Friday Night Lights happen, but it's raining, right? It's been cancelled.
Yeah, it rained, and unfortunately the lightning came down. And once the lightning came down, that was it. And so there was a possibility that it was going to go back on, but about 5 minutes after 7 local time, the Steelers announced on Twitter that cutting it, canceled. And so it is what it is. It kind of sucks. I'm coming all the way from Texas just to see this.
Well, I'm saying, what do you do now? Are you staying an extra few days? Do you have to go home? Do you change plans?
Well, I was and might still go tomorrow to they have a Saturday morning practice. The only thing is it's like a 60% chance of rain again. And so I'm kind of weighing my options at this point. I am scheduled to go back home tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. I've already contacted the airplane or the airport just to kind of see if I can move my flight back a little bit so I can make tomorrow's practice. But we'll see. It depends. It's going to depend on the weather. If I wake up in the morning and it looks like it's not going to be favorable, then I'm probably going to head back on to Texas.
Yeah. Well, that kind of sucks a little bit, doesn't it? Because I know you wanted to go out there and get some footage, talk to people, some players. But how's the experience been so far? Even though you couldn't go out there tonight.
Well, the experience at training camp at St. Vincent was amazing. I got to interact with a couple of players. I met Henry Mondeau. Actually got a picture with him, talked to him for a few seconds. Nothing too crazy. He was signing autographs, but he was one of the last guys that was there signing everybody's autograph that was asking him. So by the time I got up there to the top, the crowd had died down, so to speak. Najee had already gone inside. He was the highlight or whatnot. But I did have a good opportunity to have like maybe a minute and a half to 2 minute conversation with Danny Smith there at Latrobe. That was awesome, just to acknowledge him, go, "Hey, Coach Smith." And he turned around, he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "I'm doing well. You ready for practice?" He's like, "Yeah." Started talking about the weather and how Coach T loves when it comes down, just doesn't like the lightning. But when the rain comes down or when it's super hot, the worse the condition, the better Mike Tomlin loves it. And so, that just kind of attributes to the great coach he is, making the players earn it, so to speak. And so, I had that conversation with him a little bit later. As practice ended, I got to meet Matt Canada, and that was a surreal moment as well. I recommend it. If you guys get the opportunity to go, just make sure the weather's good.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, were other fans around you a bit disappointed too in how tonight ended, and Friday Night Lights was so amped up to be something really special? Were they a bit, gut hurt as well? I feel bad for you a little bit. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does suck, but at the end of the day, I got to experience St. Vincent College. I got to meet some of the players and the coaching staff. And so it just kind of builds anticipation because I will be here next year. I've already made up my mind. I'm going to be coming back.
Really?
Yes, I'm coming back next year. But next year, I'm not going to be here for just 2 days. I'm going to be here for a little bit longer than that. I'm going to try to make it at least a week-long deal. That way I can get a true feel for the positions, for the players playing the positions, for any position battles that are occurring. I know the depth chart was released earlier today. and there was some questions there as far as some battles that were going on, and I kind of picked them out. I've been kind of stating it for a while now that that especially Cam Sutton was going to be on the outside. I mentioned this yesterday on my podcast that I'm sorry, not yesterday. I mean, last week on my podcast where there was a lot of videos that were coming out on training camp where Cam Sutton was the lock on the outside cornerback position, and that Akila Witherspoon and Levi Wallace were going at battle for that position. And I mentioned on that both those gentlemen there, their salary hit or their price tag, so to speak, is identical. They're worth the same on the cap. It's the same deal. So I anticipated that was going to be a battle that was going on. I also anticipated the left guard battle with Kendrick Green and Kevin Dotson. I've been telling folks, I've been kind of harping it all summer long that position is not solidified. Kendrick Green is a mobile interior lineman that can pull. The Pittsburgh Steelers love an interior lineman that can pull, whether it was Marquise Pouncey at the center position or Alan Faneca at the guard position, David DeCastro at the guard position. They like guys that can move and pull. And right now, if it's Kevin Dotson, Mason Cole, and James Daniels, there's not a pulling guard or center there. And so I think that don't be surprised if Green takes this position, not just because of that, but also because he's a natural left guard. He's played that position throughout college, his whole career. Kevin Dotson was on the right guard. He's been right guard his whole life. He had trouble transitioning to the left guard his rookie season. That's why Matt Filer was playing significant time there. Dotson, that is, stated after the fact that he was having a problem transitioning from one side to another. I've mentioned it before. If you go back to that rookie season, he never got out of the 3-point stance. He was in a 2-point stance, whether the ball was passing, whether we were running or passing the ball, which kind of led me to believe that there might be an issue with adjustments. And so going into last year, DK Sports had announced that the coaching staff weren't very happy with him going into the season. Again, it wasn't a physicality thing. It was a mental preparation thing. And so, football, to quote the Little Giants, is 80% mental. And so if he can't figure that part out. Exactly. And so if he can't figure it out, don't be surprised if that Little Giant and Kendrick Green is starting at left guard.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What are your thoughts about Cameron Sutton and this knee injury? Do you have any insider access to that?
Well,
I haven't heard too much more.
I haven't heard anything about it, but I will say this. Apparently, he dinged it up in 7 shots where he should have gotten a pick. And I think what had happened, I was standing there. I actually have it recorded. I'm going to be posting it out on my channel tomorrow. Mitch Trubisky was it was the 4th play in 7 shots, and he tried to dump it down to McFarland. And I don't know if he didn't see Cam Sutton there or not, but Cam Sutton was right there. He had the ball in his hands. He collided with Atmac. I think that's where the knee collision occurred.
Okay.
And he ended up fumbling. I'm not fumbling. He ended up dropping the interception. Now, fast forward to team drills. Cam Sutton was still participating. He was still running. He was still playing after that play. In fact, Cody White burned him on position drills going down the sideline, and just completely, just burned him down the straightaway. And I didn't see Cam Sutton after that. I didn't notice that he had walked off the field, but I'm thinking that at that point he was like, "Hey, something's wrong with me." I don't anticipate him getting burned by a Cody White. Cody White's not a speedster like that to have burned him in the manner that he did. And so it does lead me to be positive, though, that after the collision and after the injury, he was still playing and participating, which means it's probably not an ACL or an MCL tear or anything like that. It's probably something minor, maybe a contusion.
Right, we've got a few more minutes, and I want to try and keep this short. We're just doing a few questions with Stay of the Steelers. Newly found, famous guy out there, handing his business cards out to everyone. I think that's fantastic, man. I reckon I got 2 more questions for you because I think that's bloody great, right? If I could do that, I'd probably do the same. 2 more questions for you, but the first question is, have you met any interesting fans out that way or had conversations with people? In the time you were there, I know it was raining a bit, but have you met anyone like any fans?
I have. I met a guy named David from Ohio and a guy named Rob who was local. And the funny thing about these 2 guys were I met them at Steelers Fest, right? This is the festival that was going on before Friday Night Lights while it was still hot and sunny. And and miserable in that terms. But I was out there, and one thing that I noticed was the temperature from some of the fans that I was speaking with was different than what's out there as far as Mason Rudolph goes. These guys love Mason Rudolph. In fact, everywhere I was talking and everybody that I was talking to, I don't know, maybe it's because of Mason Rudolph's play in training camp this year so far, but he's changing the temperature from the fans and their opinion. Everybody that I've talked to, I've asked that question. So who do you think should be the starter? What do you think about the quarterback position? Everybody loves Kenny Pickett, of course, but they think that Mason is beating Mitch, and that maybe he perhaps should get that week 1 start. And that's
confidence right there. That to me is confidence. Like, I don't care who starts, and I'm judging from so far away. I still think it might be Trubisky, but we have seen in various reports, Twitter videos, your videos, right, that Mason is playing pretty well. He's being very selective and very, very fast to the ball. Then I'll have one more question before my final question. Right now, do you see that Mason Rudolph can be quarterback number 1?
I think if Mitch Trubisky doesn't do anything in preseason against competition, then I think he may get that possibility. The depth chart came out today, and that wasn't a position battle. That was a battle. There wasn't a Trubisky / Rudolph in that for that position. And so I said it before. I think the Steelers are going to give the Steelers are going to give Mitch every opportunity to be the starter, regardless of what's going on at this point. I think the Steelers understand and they know what Mason Rudolph is, and so they're going to see what Mitch is at this point. Now, Mason Rudolph he's not a Matt Canada guy, and so I don't see, as far as like his mobility and things of that nature, what he can do with his legs. He is mobile, and yes, he can run, but that's not his game. He's more of a pocket guy. And so, with that being said, I feel that it's going to be very difficult for Mason Rudolph to get that starting position. However, if Steelers are still in competition or competitive for a playoff run, don't discount Tomlin, for pulling one of those quarterbacks out, whoever it may be. And I often go back to 2019 where Mason Rudolph was pulled for a 5th string camp arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you go back and look at it, Mason Rudolph was coming off of a 3-game winning streak. Right, he had beaten the Miami Dolphins, the Colts, and the Rams, and then he goes into Cleveland on a short week, on a 3-game winning streak. Has a bad game, throws 4 interceptions. Ben Roethlisberger's thrown more than that in one game. The following week against the Bengals, he throws 1 interception before the half. He's yanked, and so he had 6 quarters, give or take, 6 quarters. That was his leash. A quarterback who had that the Steelers gave a 1st-round grade to, and the guy that was backing him up was a camp arm. Do you think that leash is going to be long for a 1st overall pick quarterback? I don't think so. I think that leash is going to be pretty short.
Well, it's very some interesting points here, because if Mason Rudolph excels and Trubisky excels, we have 2 good quarterbacks. One can start, one can back up. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But one more question before we end this, I guess, special episode, podcast or video, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, what are your expectations, what are you so excited about? The season. It's here, right? We had the game yesterday with the Jags versus Raiders. What are you excited about for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2022?
Well, I'm honestly excited about the back it up type of talk. All season, the fan base and we've been talking about how the Steelers are under the radar. However, we're going to be going to excel just because of the skill set, the positions that we have on the outside. The reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers are under the radar is because they lost their franchise guy. However, the franchise guy in Ben Roethlisberger, he wasn't the Hall of Famer he was his last season. And with that being said, I think that what I'm expecting is, and excited about, is just them coming out and proving it, backing it up, and showing that they're not going to be a bottom dumpster team. They're not going to be picking in the top 10 next season, as been predicted by so many of the mainstream media. So I'm excited and expecting that to happen. As far as expectations go for the team, I'm expecting them to be at least a double-digit winning season. I don't care who's at quarterback. The quarterbacks, in my opinion, are relatively about the same as far as performance is going to be going on in the season. I don't anticipate one being significantly stronger than the other once the season starts. And that includes Pickett. I think he's shown in training camp, in my opinion, that he's growing fairly quickly. I saw some training camp clips earlier on in this training camp where he was a little bit shaky. I put out a clip yesterday where he threw a touchdown pass in the corner to Cody White. He's becoming more decisive. The game is looking like it's slowing down for him. So don't discount him starting at any point in the season. But what I'm anticipating for 2022 is that those three quarterbacks are going to be pretty similar on the same level. And so with that being said, I still anticipate whoever is at quarterback that the Steelers are going to have double-digit wins. And I'm expecting them to go into Paul Brown Stadium the first week and knock out the defending AFC champs.
Oh, bloody oath, mate. Bloody oath. I was telling this to when I was doing just now the BTSC Steelers touching out. I was telling Maddie and the crew over there, I was like, at some point, we just have to enjoy the season. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all football fans. Yes, we are content creators, podcasters, talking Steelers, and we appreciate you guys listening. But we need to enjoy the season. Just go and enjoy it. Like, have a beer, get some pizza, feed up, and just, like, watch Najee run. So, before I let you go, Daniel, mate, do you want to give your channel a plug or what's going on with you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can find me at State of the Steelers on YouTube. Also on, if you hit me up on Twitter, I'm at State of Steelers. They didn't allow me to put, I had too many letters for State of the Steelers. It would have sounded like Mike Tyson, State of the Steelers, if I would have put it the way it sounded. So it's State of Steelers on Twitter. Today, Behind the Steel Curtain, I know this is airing on Saturday, so I have a podcast out in reference to what I saw on Thursday night or Thursday afternoon practice. You don't want to miss it. Just go to Behind the Steel Curtain, wherever you listen to your podcast at, and you'll see State of the Steelers. It'll be airing out this morning. It should be out by the time this video comes out. And so, yeah, guys, you can find me in those locations. Oh, yeah, also on TikTok, State of the Steelers there as well.
TikTok, you're doing the old Chase Claypool.
Yeah. I'm turning to the dark side, man. I'm climbing crates and dancing on logos. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I've only posted up a couple of the same videos that the Kenny Pickett throw to a touchdown, and I think I posted up one of my full morning episodes that I do on there, and my intro that I have on my live show. So I haven't really been too active on it. But I probably should and will be here soon, just because it's just going to drive more people to the show or to the channel.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thanks for coming on, Daniel, mate. You're doing a fantastic job. Save the Steelers, and I was hoping to see you out in the field with a selfie and stuff like that. Maybe next year we can get that. I don't know, but yeah, thanks, man, for coming on the show, and hopefully you can catch tomorrow's practice, right?
Yeah, if the weather lets me.
All right. Okay, as always, guys, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.